Hello, everyone. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video tonight on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful evening wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP. And I got to start with this. Ripple introduces confidential token transfers on the XRP ledger. Ripple researchers introduced a method for confidential token transfers on the XRP ledger with institutional controls. The proposal uses cryptography to protect transaction details while keeping account identities visible for compliance. Regulatory developments in the U.S. may support the adoption of such privacy features on public blockchains. They want to have all of those controls in place, so in case they have to freeze assets and things like that. Now, they cannot freeze XRP. However, they can freeze RLUSD. That's the big difference here. But what's really going on is Ripple is playing the razor's edge between private and public and staying compliant at the same time. That's going to be huge for institutional adoption. U.S. officials and Wall Street analysts are now reportedly preparing for the possibility of $200 oil. I'm telling you now, I really do believe we're going to $200 per barrel on oil. Larry Fink is calling for $150 plus per barrel. On the mainstream media, what is everybody talking about? $200 per barrel. They're preparing us now before it happens. That's why I believe we're going to $200. From glitches to riches, $146. Now, there's a lot of talk of price glitches, but some of these glitches are not real, as you see right here. What's going on in that image? The tweet claims XRP hit $146.78, but no major exchange, Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, etc., ever recorded XRP anywhere near that level. No trade history, order books, or liquidity confirms it. However, reality check, there have been real glitches before, but they are very short, seconds to minutes, limited to one exchange or one app, caused by API/data feed errors or low liquidity spikes. XRP briefly showed $91 on Kraken due to a glitch. Other cases showed insane prices like $1,000 plus or even $20,000, all confirmed as technical errors, or them testing XRP in the background. What I wanted to point out is that every day now, people are reporting glitches happening with XRP, and they're made-up glitches. We have real glitches and now made-up glitches. I just wanted to show you the difference. Stellar burned 55 billion XLM in 2019. Over half the supply gone. Price, nothing. Supply shock alone doesn't create demand. Now, a lot of people are arguing that it would be different if Ripple was to burn the escrow. They're saying there's way more demand for XRP than there is for XLM. But I don't think that's how it would go down. I still believe if Ripple was to burn all the escrow right now, most likely we would get a quick surge on the price of XRP, maybe 25%, maybe 50% even, but then it would come right back down. I honestly like what Ripple is doing with that escrow. They're creating more utility for XRP. So over the long term, that's going to turn into real value in the price of XRP. Everybody wants something to happen. That I get it. But burning the escrow is not the path forward, in my opinion. If XRP hits $100, what's the first thing you do? You know, I like this article because it separates two different narratives. So let's start with the first one. Not all participants focused on exiting positions. Some users expressed strong belief that $100 per XRP price would not represent the final stage of its cycle. One respondent indicated that they would wait for significantly higher levels, reflecting expectations of continued upside driven by long-term adoption narratives. Other responses focused on lifestyle transformation. Participants described plans to purchase land, build homes, retire early, and secure financial independence. Like I said, some people, they're just never going to sell their XRP, no matter what price it gets to, even in the short term. Other people, they want to sell into US dollars. They want to buy their first house, and I get that. But I think you're going to have better options soon. Once we get that institutional adoption, it's going to be better for you to borrow against your XRP than it is to cash out your XRP. And the reason I say that is because the second you cash out, you're on the hook for that capital gains tax. Why not just borrow against your XRP instead? Or even put your XRP to work for you and get that monthly passive income. That's also a very good option going forward. We don't know what's going to happen with the US dollar. It continues to lose more and more value. $1 trillion market cap for XRP equals $17 per coin. If all supply metrics stay the same as right now, I still can't believe people are looking at market cap when it comes to XRP. Honestly, in my opinion, market cap doesn't matter. Previous cycles no longer matter. Look at how different this cycle has been compared to previous cycles. It's been delay after delay. We had the tariffs. Now we got the war. We have price manipulation at the same time. And market cap doesn't matter. Utility matters. Supply and demand matters. And we are about to face that very soon. Because I think the supply of XRP, it's disappearing very quickly. You see the whales loading up, taking it off the exchanges. Institutions are buying it. Flair wants to lock away 1 billion XRP, which is 1% of the supply. Actually, it's 5 billion, 5% of the supply. Evernorth is taking 1 billion out of circulation as well. There's going to be more companies creating treasuries around XRP, even pushing into the future. We're on the verge of tokenization, and people are still talking about market cap. It makes zero sense. The 4-year cycle is dead. Raw Paul just said it. Everything you thought you knew about crypto timing is wrong. It's not the halving anymore. It's liquidity, it's macro, it's ETF flows, it's AI agents, a completely new playbook. The investors still trading the 4-year cycle are using a map that no longer exists. The game changed. You know, Raw Paul, he continues to push this Bitcoin narrative. He's now talking about AI agents transacting in Bitcoin. That's not going to be happening, not at 7 transactions per second. He's totally wrong, because what's really going on is we're now pushing towards utility. We're moving away from speculation. We're moving away from hype. We're moving away from the belief system that's propping up the price of Bitcoin. And we're going into real world utility, real world use case. And if your cryptocurrency doesn't solve a real world problem, it's going to be irrelevant going forward. And by the time all these people on the mainstream media news figure this out, most of retail is already going to be used as exit liquidity when it comes to Bitcoin. Things are changing. Technology is advancing. Bitcoin is stuck in the past, and it's going to continue to push deeper and deeper into the past as time goes on. Analysts, XRP could trade around $30 in the next few months. I totally agree with that. But how do we get there? I think it starts with clarity. Without that, I think things are going to remain like they are right now. Clarity is going to open up everything. That's going to bring the massive wave of institutional money into this space. But $30 is not the stopping point. Tokenization alone can get us above $30. And wait until we get to the second half of this year, where the DTCC wants to amp up tokenization. NASDAQ wants to amp up tokenization. Archax is going to be bringing assets on chain every single day. And people still think XRP is going to stop at $30. We are going higher. This comes from the National Cryptocurrency Association. We often hear, I used to think it was for crypto bros. But crypto holders span genders, ages, and backgrounds. Crypto doesn't have a type. I totally agree with that. I think crypto is not about crypto bros anymore. I also think crypto is maturing. You see it in the direction that we're already moving in. We have some of the biggest institutions in the world now getting involved with crypto. BlackRock, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they're all onboarding. And I think as more and more banks onboard into crypto, they're going to start offering it to their customers. That's going to be the biggest game changer we have ever seen in crypto. But right now, anybody that wants to make money, maybe offset inflation, maybe just make some quick money, crypto is the place to do it. But once you get into crypto, there's no turning back. Once you see the slightest run up on whatever you're holding, you are sold. You're in it for life then. Because once you start to figure out what XRP is built to do, you're never going to want to sell this cryptocurrency. But when your portfolio looks like phone numbers, you're going to be selling this cryptocurrency. That's what's going to shake out the most people, is rising prices. But crypto is not the wild, wild west that it used to be. I remember when I first got into crypto and you told somebody I just got into crypto, they were like, wow, I can't believe you're even investing in that. And they would whisper it because it was like something that nobody should be in. Like all this illicit activity happens inside this space. That's all changing. The narrative is definitely changing. And once regulations are in place, it's going to change this space forever. And I want to give you an update on Elon Musk. Take a listen to this. He's now saying, don't go into medical school. It's pointless.
When do you think Optimus will be a better surgeon than the best surgeons? How long for that?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, that's
I'd say 3 years at scale.
Yes.
There'll probably be more Optimus robots that are great surgeons than there are all surgeons on Earth.
And the cost of that, but that's an important statement in 3 years' time.
Yeah.
Because medicine, I mean,
I'm not like absolutely certain, but I'd say if you say like 4 years, I'd be absolutely
If it's 4 or 5 years, who cares? That's still an
extreme precision.
Yes.
3 years.
Yes. Better than any, probably, I'd say if you like, put a little margin on it, better than any human in 4 years.
Who's in plastic surgery.
By 5 years, it's not even close.
I think your point was medicine is going to be effectively free. The best medicine in the world.
Everyone will have access to medical care that is better than what the president receives right now.
So don't go to medical school.
Yes, pointless.
Yeah.
So the same guy pushing universal high income is now, and he also told us not to invest in retirement because you're not going to need it. He's now saying don't go to medical school because it's pointless, because surgeons are going to be, their jobs are gone to AI very soon. He also says in 5 years, everyone will have access to medical care that's better than what the president receives today. What do you think? Do you think he's overhyping all of this? Because remember, he's the salesman for AI. You know, he has skin in the game. In other words, he's the guy creating the robot. So, of course, he wants to sell the public on AI advancement, robotics, and so on. But I also believe that this is walking us right into the Great Reset. What are people going to do in the future when nobody goes to work? I mean, most people, they're going to be like, well, why? What's the point? I mean, what's money going to be worth in the future? Well, you're going to get capped every single month. You're going to get this universal basic income that if you don't use it, it's going to expire. And if you do use it, you can only buy certain things with it. I mean, what's the point of all of this at that point? What are your thoughts on it? Put it in the comments section down below. And until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.